Welcome to The Cleaning, a
Cleaning.
podcast about Apple TV show Silo. My name's Catfish, and with me, as always, is someone who's entitled to his opinion. It's Bubba.
Catfish, I'm so happy to be with someone more alive than Orla Kent.
Oh. And with just as clean a lungs, Bubba, we are talking about season 3, episode 4. Whatever you do, don't go home. The race to evade Camille leads Juliette to a shocking discovery. Daniel seeks help from a friend. On this pod, it is a double P Bubba, a packed podcast. We've got our rankings of the episode. We ask, better in the silo or better in our real world? We do an episode breakdown. We have a judicial debate. This week, something special. We've got double D's, triple C's.
Triple C's?
Yeah, deeply dumb catfish community questions.
Whoa.
We've got our silo slam. Of course, we've got our silo speculation. We've got a new game called Is It a Date? We've got lots of feedback. And on the audio podcast, we'll have a deep dive on the book versus a deep dive versus the show. But on YouTube, that'll be a completely different video. Bubba, this is very, very exciting. And Bubba, we're going to start off the show. We've got so much feedback. We usually save it for the rest of the show, the end of the show, our dessert. But we're going to top some right at the top, Bubba. So hit us with it.
Nicholas Fortuna, a great listener who's been with us for years, said, This show Silo has more twists than an advanced yoga class. Hello. Can't wait to hear your takes. This waiting week to week for new Silo episodes is killing me. I'm staying vigilant and not reading the books until the show is done, and it's not easy. My 4th grade teacher was wrong. I can exercise self-control. Hello. Heck yeah.
Yeah. Take that, Ms. Lewicki.
Now, Nick wants to know our opinions, and we always start off with our opinions on the latest episode.
Right.
But this week, we're going to do something crazy. We've got Do It Dungeon Crawler Carl, new achievement.
Yes.
We don't normally pay attention to this stuff, but somehow YouTube, we were looking at some stats and it said, hey, you've just passed 2.1 million views on YouTube. And
What?
then you look at the audio podcast and you're like, oh, we've had over 2 million audio podcasts downloaded. Hello.
Wow.
We don't make money. This isn't our profession. Sometimes the ads you hear don't even pay the bills for all that we have. But unlike professional podcasters, we're doing it because we're passionate about these shows. So for getting us over 2 million on YouTube and audio podcast downloads, we want to thank all of you. Thank you so much. If you've subscribed, liked, hyped, talked about us on social media, this is a big thank you from us to you listeners. Thank you so much.
But just to be clear, we're not anti-money. So feel free to help us go viral so that we can do this on a regular basis. Because, Bubba, right now, we are doing 2 shows at once, Silo and House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
And we are just really busting our buns, and we hope you're enjoying it. But we'd also love to make some money off it.
Yeah,
All right, Bubba.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Let's get to the ratings, Bubba.
Sure.
We want to hear your ratings of this episode. Episode 4, the halfway point. Whatever you do, don't go home.
This episode was like Silo the series in a single episode. There are incredible highs that I want to dance and celebrate and jaw dropping. Oh my God, this is so incredible. There's also some slap my head against the books, against narrative storytelling that drive me absolutely crazy. So a rating is very difficult. But because of that incredible ending, I am going to stay at 8 double B's out of 10.
Double B's?
Well, when you are in Washington, D.C., and you see government handing out free jobs at the New York Times, you know it's time to blame Biden. Why is Joe Biden, now that he's out of office, threatening Daniel's sister to pull her out of the hospital and offering Helen this job at the Times? That's crazy. Gosh darn it, Joe. Come on. So I'm going to talk about the positives. That ending with Bernard, incredible. That is why people love this show. Hell to the yeah. The reveal proves, even though we've had a lot of hints, that Rob Sims, Common, has got his own game going on. Hell yeah. Sims against Sims. Let's roll. Helen and Daniel in this episode, it's not great, to be completely honest, but they have chemistry. This team working together has a bit of chemistry. Evil nurse Amy, who for weeks I've been saying, I can fix her. And you know what? I did, because she helped Juliette live.
Oh, you did it, Bubba.
The amnesia storyline looks like it's coming to the end, and that is a backhanded positive, because it means I'm so happy that this show created storyline of Juliette with amnesia is going to be over. So many positives. My less than positives is for the love of the founders. Some of these stories need momentum. Lucas, where's Lucas? Where's Lucas? We asked that for 2 episodes. Lucas has been back for 2 episodes, and he's given us absolutely zero information. We found out he was hiding in the mines, and absolutely nothing else. Lucas has told us no other new information. Why'd he come back if he's not going to provide us audience members new information?
Poor Bubba. There he is.
Listen.
There he is. He's being leaned on.
Let's go.
By the outsiders, and you're giving him a hard time.
Well, say something. I mean, he told them they needed to wise up, but guess what? I've known that since the end of season 1. I'm an audience member. Please me. And then, okay, Daniel and Helen, their storyline. Oh my God, my good buddy Sam gave me some information. I won't say it out loud to you, Helen, because then the audience would know it. It won't tune in next week to find out whatever this information we got is. Oh my God, these stories don't move. It is driving me crazy.
Bubba, you have just got to be crazy. Just be happy that his buddy Sam didn't get killed before he could tell him, because that is a trope. Just like when they went back, they're like, let's go talk to Steve. We've only been gone 7 minutes, but we get back and someone has stolen him and totally trashed this whole place.
Oh my God.
So at least for that, Bubba, at least there is actual information.
That nobody has, that I don't have. There is information, we just don't know it. But I'm going to end with Orla Kent. In our podcast on the premiere of season 3, the first episode of season 3, I said, I think Orla's boyfriend is evil. Catfish, I want our listeners to go back and listen. You laughed when I said that. You were like, what a crazy idea Bubba's doing. Then in our second podcast on episode 2 of season 3, I said, I bet Orla's dead and her boyfriend killed her. I don't have screeners. That story of Orla Kent, it has nothing to do with these books. I was just watching what the show was telling me. It was telling me she was dead, her boyfriend killed her. That's either wonderful that the show gives me these hints, or it's bad because seemingly nobody else online figured out what the show was telling us, because they bored us with Orla Kent's storyline so much, and so we didn't want to solve it. Anyway, 8 out of 10 because Double B, not blame Biden, Bernard back. Tim Robbins is back. That is wonderful. I'll try to stay positive. It's real tough. 8 out of 10. That's mine. I went long. Catfish, what is your rating out of 10?
Well, Bubba, before I say that, I was going to give you credit.
Credit?
I was going to say, that I was skeptical of the boyfriend being the killer because it seems more nefarious than just a spat.
Right.
But he does, you couldn't do much poorer at a police interview. He's like, oh yeah, she's like that. She just wanders off sometimes, even though she's a shadow. But Bubba, you are wrong.
Whoa.
And I am sorry to say it. And it is only on a technicality, Bubba, because you said her boyfriend killed her. And according to the new shadow, he's her boyfriend. Like I'm your boyfriend, and that is
a date.
Not at all. Not at all. So on a technicality, Bubba, you lose because you kept calling him her boyfriend.
No.
And he ain't. I loved all the storylines. Okay, well, hold on. So I'm going to give this what I like to call 9 out of 10 triple N's.
Triple N's?
Yet, as we all know, if someone is there to help you, they have a profession where they help you, but it seems like they're not helping you, but they actually are helping you because they're deceiving someone else. That's what we call nifty, naughty nurses.
Whoa.
So I'm giving it 9 out of 10 triple N's. I think the only thing that I was not so excited about was it was, sometimes like the way George R. Martin wrote his books, where it's point of view.
Yeah.
And some people write point of view books.
Yep.
And the points of view are so short that you can't really get into the story before they go to the next point of view. George R. R. Martin doesn't do that. He allows the point of view to be long enough. This one, I felt like the switching back and forth was a little too quick, too much.
Oh, no.
Although it really did increase my excitement about it. I'm glad that Bernard's back. Look, you're all upset about Lucas. Lucas is headed down to where she is. And I've got to say this, as I realized when I watched this episode, Bubba, at the first episode, I'm like, oh, this amnesia thing is going to kill me. You know what was bugging me more than the amnesia? This BS about Cheryl being upset with her friend because she lost her memory. So, honest to God, they can keep the amnesia as long as they want now that they've stopped this stupid, fake Cheryl is not happy because she blames someone for losing their memory. So I'm happy about that. Nifty, naughty nurses, Bubba. That's what I think.
Catfish, I'm pretty sure I saw Nifty Naughty Nurses on Cinemax late at night back in the 80s, but that's another story.
Yeah, okay. I did, but it was only I only saw it in between, right, scrambling the channel.
Yeah. Right. It was a free Skinemax weekend. Excuse me. Hey, who cares what we think? You went 9 out of 10. I went 8 out of 10. There's a lot of positives in this episode, but we want to know what you think. If you're watching this on YouTube, go down in those comments, hype, talk to us. If you're listening to the audio podcast at PHQ on all your social media channels. And we want to hear what you think because this is a divided fan base. I'm going to tell a little bit of Bubba's story time here. Now, last Saturday night, I was in the lovely Dillard House estate up in North Georgia for a family reunion. And my cousin's wife said, oh, my husband and I are watching Silo. And then my sister and her husband said, oh, we're watching Silo.
But maybe this is
a
why
popular show.
Maybe this is why we're not making any money doing this. Even your own family members have known nothing about your podcast of Silo.
I've been giving them vitamin D plus. How could they not remember every week? But then Catfish, I've mentioned this before. I search social media because I love, reposting stuff, news about Silo. Silo is at San Diego Comic-Con this week in 2026. We're recording this. So I love doing it. But if you search Silo on Facebook, Threads, Blue Sky, Reddit, Twitter, at least a third of the posts are negative. Now, about 60% of the posts are, I love Silo, season 3 is awesome. But at least 30% are, this is boring, the amnesia is driving me crazy, give us some answers. There are people very negative. If you go to Rotten Tomatoes right now, season 3, the critic rating is 100%. The audience popcorn rating is 58%. Now,
Bubba, these critics, anybody who's probably reviewing this show has gotten, what did you say, the first 8 episodes?
No, they've got the whole thing. If you are a critic, you got access to all 10 episodes early.
So there we go. That may be a part of it.
I mentioned this because we got a bunch of feedback, and at the very end, we're going to go over some feedback of some Silo fans who are frustrated beyond belief. Like I have my little mini rants. There are some feedback we've gotten from Silo fans. These are fans who have been driven crazy by season 3.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And again, forget listening to us. If you just go on social media, now, admittedly, about 10% of it is written in a language I can't understand. But in the English, like I said, about 60% is this is great. And 30% is I hate season 3. And if you're the show writers and you're like, boy, I want to create a season 3 that keeps our fans engaged. If 30% of the audience is saying, I am very frustrated, let's be honest, that's a failure as a writer, producer, director. That is a failure. Now, the thing I'm hoping is with this great reveal at the end, Bernard being back, that 30% will come around because, as you point out, all the critics who had all 10 episodes, they're 100%. They loved this season. But right now, oh boy, when we read the feedback at the very end of this, get your burn book ready, Catfish. Whoa.
Bubba, another reason why we don't have a lot of listeners is because you say things like, forget listening to us. Don't ever say that again.
Right. Never forget listening to us. Hey, Ben. Heck yeah.
Okay, Bubba, let's get to our first game.
Okay.
Better in the silo or worse in the silo, Bubba? These people are being controlled.
Yes.
They don't know the true story.
No.
Things look pretty grim for them. So every week we compare whatever's happening in the silo that week to what's happening in our real world, Bubba.
Yeah.
So, Bubba, this week, was it better in the silo or worse in the silo?
Well, it was really close because once again, you got to walk a lot of stairs. You got to go down a pulley system if you want to find Bernard. So I turned to an audience member. We got great feedback. So I turned to Rini6, who gave us this feedback. Do they have a foodborne illness with explosive diarrhea in the silo? If not, I vote for living in the silo. So I am in the silo. Rini6 convinced me. Thank you, listener. We love feedback.
All right. Well, I had an original thing, but of course, obviously, it seems like they probably have measles eradicated in the silo as well. So it's better in the silo. But my answer was, now wait, you can be at work and throw a ball to your dog repeatedly in the silo? Silo.
Man, oh man, here we go. Turns out silo is like working at Wag-A-Lot. This is great. Listeners, Reedy6 joined in. We want to hear you. What's better, living in our real world of 2026? We're here in the U.S. You can't eat lettuce, or living in the silo, where they may not have lettuce.
They may not have lettuce. They don't know the truth. The only upward mobility consists of walking up the stairs.
We want to hear your thoughts. Hey, Catfish, let's get into the silo. And as I always say, do you want to talk about the real world, or do you want to talk about what's happening in Silo 18 in the future?
Bubba, I always pick. I'm going to let you go this time because I enjoyed both stories equally this time.
I think we got to get to Bernard's incredible, miraculous return. And on the fourth episode...
Okay, so there it is.
On the fourth episode, he arisen.
Okay, so we're done with the silo then, because you just told the last part.
No.
Okay, done with the silo.
All right. How about this?
Okay, yeah.
The episode begins with Camille. She has made her choice. Now, she's breathing heavily, so she is not happy with this choice. I was wondering, does she have the stomach for this? But Rob Sims comment says, hey, baby, I'll kill Juliette for you. And Camille says, it has to be me. Do you agree that Camille, to save everybody and not put the vitamin D plus forget-me-now drugs in the water supply, Camille would have done it? She didn't have that option because Juliette snuck away. Catfish, yes or no? Camille would have done it.
Oh, she would have done it. I mean, I think these are the hard decisions. I mean, she definitely doesn't want to have the vitamin D plus going to everybody. So this is the decision. I mean, it would just take maybe 30 seconds of pillow time. And I mean, pillow over the face time.
Yeah, of course.
It's not so hard. And then as Sim says, she dies a hero. And I think Camille says it has to be her because, there's a little bit of pushback here. Sims is like, I'm sure the computer told you this. I'm sure the computer told you that. I think Sims is pretty peeved that he's been pushed aside by the computer for his wife.
100%. Did you see what do you call it when it's not a heel turn, but they turn to the good side? Nurse Amy, evil Nurse Amy's redemption tour. Did you see that coming? She really works for Sims, not for the evil head of IT. And Sims says he wants Juliette off the drugs and he wants her alive. And so Nurse Amy sacrifices herself. Forget attacking a judicial raider with a sedative. Later, Nurse Amy just throws herself at a bunch of raiders so Juliette can get away. Do you want to thank my silo sweetie, Nurse Amy?
I called her a nifty, naughty nurse. There's no higher praise than that in the entire world.
You know what? You're right. I'm gonna start going to the hospital and thanking all the naughty nurses in
Make sure to call them Nifty first.
Yeah, okay, right. Give them their due. How about this? So Shirley, she calls herself a total piece of blank
Yep.
because of how she's been treating Juliette, and she feels
Yep.
guilty. And her man, would you do this for Lady Catfish? Would you go and take on about 8 judicial raiders so your wife can visit her friend in the hospital, Catfish?
No.
Finally, some truth. How long have we been recording this podcast? 18
Bubba,
minutes. Finally, truth.
Bubba,
Okay,
Bubba, I just started working out again. I worked out the other day. I
good.
was supposed to be doing squat jumps. I was doing squats,
Oh,
and
oh.
I hurt my hamstring. So look, I'm not attacking one person. Forget 8 people.
Well, Shirley and Juliet are reunited and they go, like, hey, this is in trouble. Both Sims and Lady Sims, sorry, Camille, are down in the hospital. They see this raider's been attacked. Robert tells his wife, and Shirley overhears this, we have to handle this quietly. When did you realize that Rob was the one saving Juliet? I knew as soon as Nurse Amy turned. I was like, well, why would she turn? She was given orders. Oh, it had to be by Sims. What did you know at this point that Sims was not down with killing Juliet, Catfish? What did you think?
Well, I'm still not sure. And the only time that I thought Sims was involved with it was when you said it 6 or 7 minutes ago. I'm like, did I miss something? Not sure that Sims is the one who got to her. It couldn't have been the outsiders. It couldn't have been someone else. I'm not sure why you're so sure that it's Sims is the one that's saving her.
Okay, well, earlier in the episode,
Yep.
Camille says to her husband, can you trust this nurse? Her husband says, yeah, she's worked with me in the past. So Sim says, yeah, this nurse has worked with me, done my stuff I wanted her to do in the past.
Yeah.
Then the nurse, later on in this episode, the nurse tells Juliet, hey, go to room 76 on this one level. I think it was a pumping station, and talk to somebody there. He'll help you, or they'll help you. When Juliet gets down to room 76, who's there? Sims. So, I don't think it's really that much of a mystery, Catfish. This is Sims's plan. How about this? Who saved Bernard? Sims has told everybody he put Bernard in the furnace. Sims is lying, right?
All right. So there you go. Now you've convinced me, Bubba.
Okay.
So I guess the answer to your question of when did I realize that it was Sims who was doing this was just about 10 seconds ago when you stopped talking.
Catfish, whoa. Well, then how do you think she got out? You thought it was the outsiders had bribed the nurse?
I thought it was somebody that we didn't know. Could have been the outsiders,
okay.
could have been somebody else. Yeah.
That is fine. You're invalidating your rating, but that's fine.
No, now I should make it even higher because that's
Right,
cool,
10 out of
man.
10.
That's
Okay.
cool, man.
Are you happy that Sims, now that I've kind of spelled it out, that Sims didn't want to kill Juliet immediately?
Well, now I wonder what this makes it more fascinating. What kind of game is Sims playing where he's going against the computer? He's
Yep.
going against his wife.
Yes.
He was like, now I think about it, he was like, hey, I'll take care of delivering the vitamin D plus. He was basically just going to do none of it. And so I wonder if the computer told Camille because he's like, what can I do? She's like, do your damn job as a judicial judge and get me a mayor instead of being the teacher's aide like you have been. So maybe
Yeah.
the computer has assessed that there is a 76% chance that your husband is working against the plan.
No.
And so the computer's told her, do not trust your husband.
Oh, that would be great. That would be great if you go to algorithm marriage therapy.
Yeah. I know what the algorithm solution is to the problems in this marriage is to get rid of one of the members of the marriage.
Oh man, so good. Okay, so we are really kind of
Well, Bubba, let me ask you this then.
yeah. All right, let's hear it.
Since you've opened my eyes to this
Yeah.
fabulously, right here, people, if people think that this is all completely scripted out, no, you
Right.
can see my idiocy was just exposed. So, Bubba, let's get into it.
Okay.
Tell me what you think changes Sims's mind. He was a company man the whole time. What do you think made him go like basically a 180 on the silo?
Well, I would say real quickly for you and the listeners, if you look at the
Hmm.
description of next week's episode, it is implying that we're going to actually see what happened when Juliette got rescued out of the burning antechamber. So they're going to flash back 3 months and show us,
Okay.
obviously Bernard not being killed. So they're going to show us that in next week's episode, is what it's implied. If I had to guess,
So
I
your answer
bet.
is based on future spoiler information you
Well,
gave
the fact they're
yourself.
going to show it is influencing me to say this. I bet they're going to go back and the very minute that the algorithm said, Camille, you can stay, Robert, you grab Anthony Sims Jr. and get the hell out of this room. I bet that's when Sims flipped. And so I imagine next week we're going to see him once again put in a plan to save Bernard. And then if he's saving Bernard, if you've saved Bernard, and you hated Bernard. Sims was really mad with Bernard that Bernard passed him
Yeah,
over as his
yeah,
shadow.
exactly.
But the fact that he then ends up, you would assume, a couple of hours later sparing Bernard, the flip has to be then to me. That's what I think.
All right, great. All right, well, that was some fascinating conversation. No, seriously. Thank
Oh,
you
okay.
for doing that, even though you cheated by looking next week on. All right,
Sure.
so let's talk about the outsiders. Oh my
Well,
goodness.
wait. Do you
Yeah,
want
tell
to?
me.
Because I went on it. What did you think when Juliette was going down? We've heard this is one of these siloisms. They've said in every episode of season 3, oh, Walker closed off the access to the digger. Walker closed off the access to the digger. You know when they say something multiple times, what it proves? Walker has not closed off access to the digger. So when Juliette is walking down there and walking out
Hmm.
there, did you have any idea that she was going to run into Bernard? How shocked were you?
No, of course. Nobody, unless they were looking at the description of a future episode, would be able to know that Bernard was back.
Well, some people, let me say, I was not one of these, but some people said they never took his name out of the credits. I tend to skip the credits. Did you watch the credits and see that
No, I
his name?
skipped the credits too. So there you
Yeah.
go. You could have spoiled yourself. Either you could have cheated the way Bubba did, or you could have just sat around and watched the credits like
Yeah.
a responsible watcher does.
That's for sure. Are you glad that Bernard and Tim Robbins are continuing on the show?
Yeah, although I guess his Sim's taking care of him. He
Oh
doesn't.
boy.
He looks like
Yeah.
he's not in a great. Like, who's feeding him? Who's taking care of him?
I guess Walker
Once
or Carla. How
again.
about Carla hasn't been seen? Maybe Carla's taking care of him.
All right, let's say Carla. All right.
And then hold on. Let's we're in silo speculation. So this will be our silo speculation for this episode.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that season 2 ended with Bernard capturing Walker and playing Carla against her. Like, hey, if you don't do anything, Carla's gone. And then what if this season Bernard is Carla's prisoner? That's my silo speculation. Put it in the bank.
I love it. Okay, I'll put it in the bank along with the hopefully you don't lose on a technicality this time, Bubba, because that is really hard.
How
You went to
could you?
Kalshi and Kalshi's like, sorry, can't pay out.
Well,
All
the
right.
outsiders, are you happy? I was very frustrated that this, in other words, what was the new information really? The new information was Patrick Kennedy was told the truth. He believes outside is fine. Lucas told him it's not. I guess technically all the outsiders learned that. And admittedly, some people like Billings' wife immediately go, oh, that makes sense. Why would Lucas lie? But Patrick Kennedy says hell to the no. What do you any idea about this story? Are you happy that
Bubba,
Patrick Kennedy's been wised
I
up?
believe I have used this quote before, and I don't think it was for this podcast.
Okay.
I got this quote on a t-shirt It's from hundreds of years ago. And it's about the political situation today, but I'm going to use it here. And
Okay.
that is, you cannot reason someone out of something they did not reason themselves into.
Is that printed on both sides of the t-shirt? That's a lot of words. I love
No,
it. I love that expression. How much? Is it on T Public right now? We'll put it in our merch store.
yeah,
Here as
yeah,
we try to make money.
T Public, T Fury, T-shirt
Oh,
Hell. It's
okay,
on one of
great.
those. It's
Okay,
on one
great.
of those.
We now have to turn to everybody's favorite former supply shadow. Orla
Tell me.
Kent, Orla
Oh
Kent,
yeah.
and the not so mysterious mystery. So we got this feedback from Tim's Retro Corner. I love Tim's
Okay.
feedback. Thank you so much. Tim wrote, they, meaning the show writers, seem to have forgotten how deep the silo is. There's an awful lot of travel from top to bottom almost instantaneously, even though there's 144 levels and like 4 floors a level. Over a mile deep, roughly 5 Empire State Buildings. You're not going to walk that in a few minutes or even a few hours going down. Then he said, one backstory info dump does not get me invested in Orla Kent. Hashtag ouch. So,
Well, again, this is kind of the same thing I brought up about
yeah,
how the hell Bernard is being taken care of.
yeah, walking all that food all the way down there. But I meant to read this because Tim wrote that he doesn't care about Orla Kent. Is her mystery interesting? Is her murder interesting, Catfish? What do you think?
No, not at all until
Oh,
they tie
no.
it to whatever's going on with the rest of it. But what I am enjoying
Oh, yeah, let's hear it.
is the double C.
Double C.
Yeah, CSI Silo.
Double C, is it? Okay.
Yeah,
That's pretty
double
good.
C.
That's pretty good. You mean
CSA Silo.
you like Sheriff Billings' investigation? I mean, he's never in a good place, poor Paul Billings.
I mean, I don't
This
know how many
begins with him.
people.
Oh my God, he's in dreamland, right? He's like zoned out.
I don't know how many people died or how many people are actually working on doing autopsies, but this guy again, straight out of CSI. Okay, she
Yep.
didn't die that way. She didn't have any smoke in her lungs.
Nope.
And then he's like, oh no, hold on. No, I said she didn't have any dust in her lungs. That
Whoa.
means she wasn't even killed there. So
Mm.
I'll put that in my report for you to smoke it.
Yeah, they're saying that Orla was never meant to be found. Whoa. So,
Well, how deep did they go in? How deep did they go in these tunnels? Feels
well,
like people working all over in the mines. Like she wasn't meant to be found, except someone went to take a smoke break, like 3 feet
no,
off
no.
of where they were working.
Well, they were doing a check because of the rat poison, and they found her. Is what they're implying. They were like, we're going to check every inch of this mine to make sure nobody died. Oh wait, we found somebody who's died. Orla Kent. Do you have any thoughts about Shady Boyfriend? You've already talked about him, or a possibly new Silo sweetie. For me, Glenda, who real quickly, without any shame, steps into Orla's old job.
She
Yeah.
didn't want it. She didn't want the
No.
responsibility.
No.
She didn't want it because when you're a shadow,
Yeah.
just like Orla Kent's quote unquote boyfriend says, when you're a shadow, when you have wanderlust, you can just wander off for 2 days. Ain't no big thing. Ain't no big thing.
Man.
Once again, I bring up the Dateline, Bubba, just because one of our listeners was with me. It's like, yeah, no, sure. My wife, she likes to wander around sometimes. She has to go on little vacations. Sure, she didn't take her car. She didn't take her
No.
phone. She didn't take her
No.
wallet. But that doesn't mean anything's wrong.
Not at all. Oh boy. So let me go ahead and say this is more silo speculation for this episode. I get very frustrated with this show, and I don't think they've done a great job telling the Orla Kent story, but here's how it must work. Orla Kent's boyfriend, Mike, was part of a group stealing critical
Boyfriend.
supplies. Yeah,
Okay.
her fake boyfriend, Mike, was part of a group stealing critical supplies. Orla goes to a meeting. She returns from the meeting and she tells her boyfriend 2 things. The boyfriend's like, how was the meeting? And she says, well, I got into a fight with the miner, Ed Harwood. Then the second thing she says is, oh, yeah, you know what? I saw the pulley, and I think I figured out how people are stealing and moving the stuff away from supply. The boyfriend hears this. He's part of the group stealing supplies, so he's like, okay, she's figured out whatever our system is around the pulley. I've got to kill Orla. And then, who can I blame it on? Well, she just got in a fight with Ed Harwood. I'll bury her body in the mine. That's how I think it works. That is a logical story. Paul Billings, I'm taking your job as sheriff. You have got the syndrome, and you are taking too long. Get the hell out.
That is
me and Deputy Hank are taking over.
That sounds like a really interesting story that nobody cares about. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have said it. I'm just saying, like, yeah, I'm not getting that because no one made me care about her at all. All right, Bubba, speaking about not caring and being unfriendly. We've got to get to the double S.
Wait, the double S?
The silo slams.
Ooh.
Bubba, I'm going to give you a list of things said. You can pick the best one, or as you usually do, come up with your own that's the best.
All right, sure.
Bubba, we're going to start off with a rare triple S today.
Triple S? What the heck?
It's a silo self slam. It's when Cheryl says, I'm a piece of S. When Daniel goes
why did Juliette not say no? No. Was that because the vitamin D, she couldn't remember how to tell somebody?
Well, wait now. No, yeah. She was saying that. She was saying that to her hunky boyfriend. She wasn't saying that.
Okay. Wait.
She wasn't saying that to Jules.
Did her hunky boyfriend Knox say no, honey? Come on, you were just.
Yeah, no. He was very. Here's my shoulder to lean on.
Oh, good work, Knox.
But don't lean on too hard. Yesterday it was shoulder day. Right. All right, Bubba, and then we've got Daniel and Helen. They walk into Helen's ex's place, and Daniel says, "Obviously not your place."
Ouch! It's too nice. It's too nice. Nobody works at an online sleaze factory could afford a nice place like this. Helen, whose house have you stolen? Ouch! Not nice, Daniel.
Well, her ex's name turns out to be Palmer, and when Daniel's like, "This is weird. I wouldn't let my ex stay at a place," and Helen gets him back because she says Palmer's not like that. And he says, like what? And Helen says, petty. Oh, silo slam.
Silo slam. That's good. That's going to be tough.
Silo slam. And when with your guy who you're calling Joe Biden says he's offering enticements to Daniel and Helen, lay off. He says, I can get you at the New York Times despite your reputation for journalistic fraud.
Ouch. Oh, do you want to take the knife out of my back? Ouch.
Damn. And then we have the new substitute shadow for Orla talking about Daniel, the quote unquote boyfriend.
No, that's Mike, the boyfriend. Mike, the boyfriend.
Mike. She says, Mike, first of all, he's not the boyfriend. And sometimes because he's an a-hole, he'll go out of his way to prove it.
Boom! Ouch! Holy smokes. Those are incredible silo slams. You know what? You convinced me on Daniels. Obviously, this is not your place. This guy, daggers. I love that one. What about you? What's your favorite silo slam?
Yeah, I'm going with the last one. Sometimes because it's an a-hole, he'll go out of his way to prove it.
Oh,
just beautiful, Bubba. Well, you know what? I've seen him. I agree.
Hey now, it is time to get in the Wayback Machine because, Catfish, it is time to go to the before times.
Let's do it.
Our congressman has found Steve, the dark web hacker's place destroyed. Steve is gone. He wants to call the cops. Helen wants him to buy a new iPhone. She smashes it. Oh, maybe it wasn't an iPhone. This is Apple TV. Daniel was probably carrying an easy-to-hack phone, and so Apple TV made Helen destroy that. Daniel, hold on. He's a member of Congress. He probably has some security firm for when he goes to events. But Helen is like fearful for her life. She's like, someone made that man disappear.
The funny thing about him being a congressman is, first of all, they obviously, he's not a senator. He's in the House of Representatives.
Yeah.
But he makes his job look like he is the smallest peon. He's going to a call center. The other thing I thought, Bubba, is I don't know where he's a representative to, but gosh, can you really be that low key slash not genial and actually get elected these days? He
Wow. Yeah.
seems like a real stick in the mud.
What do you think the headline is going to be in the Savannah newspaper tomorrow? Like in the Savannah Morning News, what the headline is going to be: Our Congressman Daniel Keene missed 5 votes the last 3 days.
Nobody even. People miss votes all the time now, Bubba,
They
obviously.
sure do.
All right. So
What do you think about
there it
Helen?
is. Yeah.
Helen is driving a 30-year-old Saab. Do they still make Saab cars and sell Saabs here in the U.S.?
I
I
don't
don't know.
know, Bubba. All I know is that she's not doing it ironically.
Okay, so Daniel, he knows what show he's in. So when he sees this photo of Helen up at her ex's place, he's like, the first thing I do when a relationship ends is bury all the evidence deep in the earth. I bury it in a silo. And then he takes off his sunglasses and he goes, yeah!
Won't get fooled again.
Oh my goodness
All
gracious.
right, so Bubba,
Yeah.
here we go. They learn slash sort of crazily intuit that Stephen was communicating very during chess.
Yep.
This whole section here is a little bit wonky, okay? Because he's a guy. I just want to put these two people, their personalities,
Yeah.
and remind you of who they are.
Okay.
He's like a blah, whatever, I'll let things ride. And she's an investigative reporter. And
Yep.
now she's asking him questions and expecting him to answer it. No, Bubba. No, that's just not right. But they do come up with this idea that they were communicating during chess. Helen got part of the username.
Oh
Um,
man. Yeah. Bigfoot
uh,
lives.
yeah, Bigfoot lives. And Bubba, I just want to say, and here's the other thing.
Okay.
She makes it clear that like they're being followed, they're being listened to. They don't act like this throughout the rest of the episode,
No.
like they could get killed. Listen, all these people have disappeared, right?
Yeah.
The phone's not working for Steve. The phone's not working for
Mr. Alameda.
Elante,
Yeah.
Mr. Alameda. So they could be thinking they're dead. They don't act like that way. Daniel's the first one not to act like that way because he go get some donuts and bear claws, and she's like, "What are
Yep.
you, an idiot?" But then, of course, she joins him later on when he goes to his boy Sam Ramsey,
Hey, hey.
and they make some jokes, and then, of course, you think they're being followed, and yet she's not worried. He's not
No.
worried about
No.
meeting Sam in public. What could happen to Sam? He asked Sam, I need to get this information.
Yep.
And Sam is just like, I can't do that. I've got a family. So, of course, skip ahead to later in the episode when he does get the information, but we'll get to that every time.
Right. Sam went
And
home. Sam went home in a cutscene. You know, you buy the DVD, the Blu-ray of Silo season 3, and in a cutscene, Sam goes home and it's like, "Man, honey, I had to protect you." And then, the wife starts nagging him. The kids have left a mess.
yeah, exactly.
Through this.
Yeah, I'm peace out. I'm peace out of this life. And so they're out there in public, and then
Yeah.
they get approached by the guy who is following Daniel's sister, who's been following
Yes.
them. These guys are like the pinnacle of power, right? If you're a
Yes.
little bit low power, you're like, hey, you know what? These people could be a problem. Let's just kill them. When you're even higher than that, you can be like, no need to kill them. We'll just give them their heart's desires and we'll have bought them. So he offers Helen a job at the New York Times. He basically, all Daniel gets is your sister will still be taken care of. And by taken care of, we mean her memories may be lost permanently.
Yeah. Now, hold on. Why doesn't Joe Biden offer Daniel, like, hey, I know you hate sitting in the call center calling people up, ask for money.
Yeah.
I've given Mr. Alameda a big check. I've obviously given a new job to Steven the Dark Web hacker. I'll give you money so you don't ever have to sit in that room and call again.
How about he says, "I'll get people behind you
Yeah,
and in a run for the Senate where you'll have some real power."
there you go. There
He
you
doesn't have to
go.
just be a dick. And then, of course, we have to go through this. Then, of course, we have to go through this BS, Helen and Daniel argument, blah, blah, blah. I never for one moment believed that they were both going to go for that. So I'm just going to ignore
Wait,
that.
when you said they both wouldn't go for that, was that because in the band that Sam and Daniel were in, they did Hall & Oates covers like Rich Girl and I Can't Go For That? And apparently Daniel was Kenny G. He was the sax player.
Bubba,
Does that make you like
I was
Daniel
giving
more?
you a round of applause for the I can't go for that. And then when you did the Kenny G, your applause got taken away.
I know.
All right.
Listen,
So then we go.
hold on.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Don't you think that Daniel and Helen could use some private eyes watching you? They
All right, so Daniel's got the information. Oh my God!
Don't you think?
No,
Don't
stop!
you think
No, please,
that
please.
when Daniel saw
Go for it.
Helen's
Oh,
apartment,
God.
he goes, "She couldn't afford this. She's not a rich girl who's gone too far, and you know it don't matter anyway." Right? Right? Did he think that?
For video listeners, that was an intentionally me turning away from my
Wait,
video camera
wait,
so that Bubba would
no.
stop.
Catfish,
Oh my
wait a minute.
God, no,
You
no.
turned away from your camera and you were out of touch, out of time. But I'm out of mind.
All right, let's go to the judicial debate feedback. Bubba,
Okay.
it is who is the Silo Season 3 MVP?
MVP.
Now, Carioso gave the MVP for the third episode, the Pez dispenser, because I think it swayed Sims to be more sympathetic to the lengths a unified memory can truly fuel a soul and the silo. These are just this is some heavy philosophical words.
Very good,
Wow.
Carioso.
Wow.
That's really impressive. And since I'm still trying to think of Hall & Oates songs, it's very hard to pivot from that and think of the Silo MVP. How about this, Catfish? Who's your MVP for episode 4 of season 3?
Is it episode 4 or for the season? I guess we're not technically we're not at the halfway point, right? We got 10 episodes.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll just do my episode 4 MVP.
All right.
My MVP is going to be Sam. Sam. Sam.
Yeah.
You know why? Because he had an epiphany today. That playing songs 15 years ago with somebody is worth his wife and children's lives. So I'm going to give the MVP to him.
Yay! Finally.
What about you, Bubba? Who's your MVP for this episode?
It's Barack Obama for having Joe Biden as his running mate. That was a great move for the state of Delaware.
I thought you were going to say it's a Barack Obama because people who are no longer cursing Obama, now they're cursing Biden.
Right, they are. Oh, how could Biden start this war in Iraq? Oh, boy. Hold on. Yeah, you know what? How about this?
Yeah.
I will give it to Joe Biden, meaning the cigarette-smoking man / white-haired man, because he did something for 3 episodes. He's been slinking in the background,
He has.
He could have just stayed in the background, but he probably recognized that Daniel and Helen recognized him, and he thought, "Ah, to hell with it. I'll just go up and tell them to stop it. I'll bribe them to stop looking into this." So for actually making a little bit of forward progress, white-haired Joe Biden lookalike, you are my MVP at episode 4.
Absolutely. He was definitely the man-eater of the episode.
Oh my God. Oh my Lord.
All right, Bubba, here we go. This is so special. We have the double D's, triple C's.
Double D's, triple C's.
Deeply dumb catfish community questions.
Oh.
Bubba, it's just going to be our listeners this week.
Oh, great.
I'm so proud. Cam Shea 23 says, my deeply dumb question is, if Camille, not me, the Camille on Silo, puts the forget vitamins in the water supply, how much will people forget? What if they forget what the silo is and how to do their jobs?
or why not to go outside? Great question, CamShay23. Now, the Silo AI, the algorithm, says it's done it, I believe, at 6 other silos, and it did it at this silo 140 years prior. So even if Camille doesn't know, meaning Camille on the show, and if we listeners don't really know how it works, the algorithm trusts it. And if you can trust a computer algorithm, which, let's be honest, when you do Google searches, I think you get wrong information about at least a third of the time.
Oh, boy.
You know, I think it's figured out. We haven't learned how, but the algorithm trusts it. So I'm going to trust the algorithm in this one instance. How about you? What, any answer for this that you can think of? Because the show has not provided it.
I mean, I feel like I blathered on about this last week, and it's not really clear. Our listeners are asking. I'm asking how it works.
Yeah.
This is where I think if the Today storyline had gone on a little bit further, maybe we'd know this information, because we don't know why they don't just reset the silo.
Yeah.
We don't know how any of that works. And you know what?
What?
It's really, really good to know the ramifications of something as a viewer. It's really good to know what's going to happen if this happens. Like, what are the stakes? We don't know the stakes. Some of us are like, oh my God, this would be horrible. And some of us are like, why don't they do this all the time? Us not knowing the stakes does not help the drama as far as doing this.
I 100% agree. Camille, your question, CamShay23 in this case, your question made me think apparently the algorithm can do the safeguard procedure on its own, but to actually do the vitamin D plus in the water supply, that you actually need the members of the silo to do it. You don't have a pipe that can do it on its own. Wonderful question. And we've got more community questions, and I love it. So here's one, Catfish, from Mr. Will Guitar, who asks, well, first of all, Will writes, I enjoy these podcasts very much, sirs. Thank you so much. Well, tell us if you still like it after that Hall of Notes bit. I don't think Catfish's questions are ever silly at all. They are great. Well,
thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Will. He continues, a couple of things I don't quite get are the algorithm saying any silo-to-silo contact would mean essentially killing everyone in the silo. But surely, and not the character surely, but surely it knows that Juliette went into a different silo, meaning the algorithm must know that. It knows it didn't go into the, safety shed.
Yeah, right.
And so why hasn't the algorithm just said, okay, that's silo-to-silo communication, take it out? And then Mr. Will Guitar continues, if the algorithm says Camille was chosen due to her being able to lie, but then the computer doesn't ever think that Camille may ever lie to it, surely then, if the algorithm knew that Camille was a liar, why exactly tell her of all her abilities to lie? It's almost like giving the hand to Camille. Could she lie to the algorithm and do some deal with Juliette?
Yeah, not knowing some of these things really is taking it down. Now, Literary Echo says, my double D's, double C's is, how did Camille become head of IT if she was never shadowed to the head of IT? Like, I know that if the algorithm wanted Camille instead of Sims, but the silo residents don't know that. So should you just announce she's the new head of IT and everyone just goes with it?
Thank you, Literary.
That's a great
question. She was a former Judicial Raider who I believe retired to go raise a kid, or maybe she hadn't retired and was still doing some raids. But yeah, now Bernard's gone.
just raids for fun.
Everybody who works in IT, and admittedly, recently when we've been in IT, the main room there at the front has been empty, relatively empty. But why don't those people say, hey, I was never considered. They just gave it to Camille. Great question. These are such good questions. I can't even fathom an answer for some of them. Can you? Boy, this is tough.
No, I can't. This is, I'm still enjoying it, but it's because I try not to think too hard about it. As you can tell from these podcasts. All right, Bubba, we've got a new section today called Is It a Date? This crazy couple, if you can call them that, Helen and Daniel, the first time they got together, they thought it was a date. So Bubba, we came up with some descriptions of their activities tonight.
Yeah.
And so you're going to describe some of the things that happens, and I'm going to answer the question, is it a date or is it not a date? Okay, so let's go ahead and let's go through some of the things that happened tonight, and then I'll make a judgment.
Question 1. When Helen breaks your phone and then takes you to her ex's place, is it a date?
It is not a date.
Ooh, strike 1 for Daniel. Okay, here's option number 2. When you call a serious female reporter, Nancy Drew, is it a date?
Even if it was a date, it's not anymore.
Ooh, strike 2 for Daniel. You're really striking out here. Okay. When you have coffee with a guy who threatens you and then later offers you your dream job, is it a date?
Okay, it's not a date, but it could end up being a weird three-way.
Okay. Wait, hold on. What if you have a better three-way with a family man who works at the Pentagon?
Sam, he's available now.
Sam Ramsey.
He's cut his family loose. All right, Bubba. Okay. We have got some feedback.
Yeah.
Damien Leo _ says, okay, I know his name is Bubba, but you have to give him a nickname or something. You can't just keep saying it like that. Literally every time you begin a sentence, you scream out his name. And I replied to this listener, I said, what is hilarious is that Bubba is his nickname. And the reason I say it so much is so that I say Bubba and not beep.
Thank you for that, Damien. InkCoo123 gave us this feedback, who said, they're in the mines last week in episode 3. There were closets filled with these oxygen masks. Juliette should have brought more than one. She should have brought 2 handfuls of oxygen masks and handed them out to the miners. Well, that's when you're logically thinking. You know, this is an emergency situation. She's just grabbing a mask and running and not thinking, oh yeah, I might need more. So, you know, I think
you can look at it that way, or you can look at it as I do, and that is that is that, you know, even when you forget, your essential personality stays, and she's selfish.
Oh, hurtful. Speaking of hurtful, Catfish,
yes.
Had an awful lot of feedback from your mean, cruel, common Sims slams last week. Ooh. I'm going to read them, and I want you to respond to each one. So James V. Saw you being so mean to Common's acting and said simply, R.I.P. Common. Not nice. Okay, how about MetaHerf? Said, that Common joke, chef's kiss. So finally, someone said it.
Yeah, I'm here to speak truth to power, Bubba.
Terrible. Mini Mama 411 said, thank you, Catfish, for pointing out the troubles with Common's acting. I adore Common. He seems like a good dude who tries to work on meaningful projects. He's one of the best rappers of his era, but his acting, goodness, he can be painful to watch. Ooh, Mini Mama.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you said it last week. He's good, Bubba, in little bits.
Yeah.
And maybe this is just not, I mean, I know that he kind of comes across and the way he looks and everything, but I think he would do better in something that was a little less serious and more funny. Also, too. By the way, I want to make this absolutely clear. You said, Bubba, last week that I was a professional actor. Now I want to make this clear.
Make it clear.
I'm not saying I'm even as good as actor as Common. No. So when I say that, that doesn't mean I think I'm better. I'm just saying.
Hold on, Catfish. Listeners, if they've seen you on Brooklyn Nine-Nine or all the movies and TV shows you've been in, I want to say this as Common. You're just as good an actor as I am.
Well, thank you, Common. All right, now listen. Now, Tayezo Ada says, fellas, you got to give Sims a break this episode. Yes. This was the most and best he's acted in probably the entire series. He actually shows some emotion. He did do a good job. Bubba, I just been holding it in for so long, and you said something, and it just came out of me. I've been holding it in for too long.
Catfish, it keeps going. Somebody with the user handle ibarf24 said, has Silo become a show you can only enjoy by binge watching? We should have been exploring the mines by now. Instead, we keep trying to sell Common as an actor. Oh, just make Common look scary in the background and give him 2 to 4 lines an episode, guys. Ouch. Ooh.
All right, and At Trouble Follows is absolutely correct. Has Sims worn the same leather jacket outfit every episode?
Man.
His wardrobe is very simple, Bubba. What am I wearing today? What I wore yesterday, and what I wore 2 years ago, and what I wore 3 years ago.
Yeah, listen, when you walk up 140 flights of stairs, you want to be warm in a leather jacket.
Absolutely. It's so cold in there. All right, Bubba, we got some feedback on the Forget Me Now drug plan.
All right, let's go. Orlando John wrote, my best guess is that Robert Sims will stop the vitamin D plus from going in the water. Well, in some ways, Robert Sims is stopping everything. He's stopping Juliette being killed, and he's definitely stopping the vitamin probably too. I agree, Orlando John.
Well, let's be clear. He is for sure on the side of good.
Yeah.
But as a result of what he's doing, could cause unrest, in which case the algorithm would say, get the vitamin D plus in there now. Now, at Awesome Tech Guy says, I think Sims and Juliette will become unlikely and maybe reluctant allies. There's another winner there, Bubba. These people were able to predict even better than you without even peeking ahead to show descriptions. All right, Shaban. Logan. Is it Shaban, right?
Yeah,
Logan says, Rob Sims might just pull away from Camille if he discovers Juliette knows how to stop the safeguard. But equally, Camille looks like she's trying to find a way to outwit the AI. Oh, this is interesting, Bubba. That. All right, I love it.
But and how is Camille going to be able to convince the algorithm that Juliette's dead? Like, can you just tell that? They convinced it that Bernard was dead, theoretically. Can they do the same with Juliette? Wonderful question.
I mean, the question is, right, they got cameras everywhere, and I assume that the algorithm has access to the cameras.
Yeah,
so I don't know. Vivos, yep, go ahead.
They wrote, I hope Camille can come up with some SMMs.
SMMs?
Shrewd Machiavellian moves to use against Silo GPT. I may just be naive, and Camille will be doing Silo GPT's bidding and become the worst. Or will Catfish be in the light of his harsh words about Sims?
No, harsh words.
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 There's somebody who's listening to some podcasts. Thank you.
All right. Commentoroid says, the biggest question for me isn't just who built the silos, but who decided humanity needed to forget. That feels like the real villain of the story.
Link Hogthrob, another great listener, said, I guess we're to assume that the memory drugs aren't permanent. Or do they need to be administered up to a certain point, or maybe drip fed for years? How soon will this be made available to all of us in the real world to forget about the last 10 years in the United States? Oh.
Link, great question. So this, again, we talked about this earlier, but
yes.
Did they think they are saving the full impact of how this works until a point in which the drugs are about to go in the water? Or do you think they don't really ever actually going to explain to us exactly how these work? In other words, it won't become like important to the story. We might find out, but it's not going to be like, oh my God, that's it. Now we're really in trouble.
Well, Catfish, I think you're getting to it. I think they should put some of this in the water, and then Juliette and our heroes can deal with how do you fight back against it. And so we'll see how it works if they put it in the water, but then again, see how you counteract it. And so that'll answer some of these questions that everybody has. And listeners, your questions are great.
All right, Bubba, we've got feedback. Is Silo great or terrible show?
Yeah, is it a great show or a terrible show here in season 3?
And is it a show slow show?
Yep. A Silo slow show. So let me say, I mentioned this earlier in the podcast. Some of this feedback is just rough and brutal. And so we get it, I think, because Catfish in our first review of season 3, episode 1 was real tough on it. And then on the last couple, I've been tough. If you love this show, We
Mm-hmm.
need your
I
feedback
do.
because we want to balance it out. So here we're going to have some things. And here's kind of a positive look at it. Uncle Vegetable thought that, the plot did progress a bit in the second episode of season 3. And Maya Ryder wrote, I love that Juliette seemed to recognize Lucas. That's good. But then on the flip side, here we go. Now that's hilarious. One wrote, the amnesia storyline has me close to dropping the series. It's a stall tactic. Ouch.
Oh my God. And our very own Camille Camshay 23 said, this is a first. I dislike an episode of any show more than you two.
Whoa.
Episode 3 gets 6.5 out of 10.
Wow.
Bubba, so low that
So low.
Camille even eschewed doing a double.
Oh, no.
Almost every character is getting on my damn nerves.
Oh, no.
Why is Shirley being bitchy to Juliette like it's her fault she lost her memory? Camille is on my last nerve. Let's move the story along. Bubba,
Yeah.
she is going to love your show bitching at the top of this episode.
She will. But hey, once again, Shirley, as you pointed out, Catfish, Shirley got over it. She and Juliette are friends again. Good news there. Our good friend W. Axel Foley from the DVR Podcast Network, he wrote us this. Silo drives me nuts. I want to love it, but it's so slow. Get to the point. How are we supposed to even care when we don't even know what the F we're waiting to care about? Ouch. Ooh.
Well, again, that's we've hit on that a lot in this episode,
Yep.
in this podcast. Tony Elaine says they're lingering so much on the memory wiping aspect, which is honestly not that big of a deal, especially since Homecoming did the memory wiping concept so much better. It's probably the worst idea to focus on for the adaptation.
Dang. Katrina wrote, I've read all the books because I want to know what happened. I'm loving the show, and not knowing what's happening in the show is fun and who to trust. I think they will need to move the 4 times they need to move that story on a bit, though, is what Katrina says. She said that storyline for her is being a bit slow.
All right. And the Leonard 16 said, I'm very sad Silo season 3 sucks.
Ouch.
Season 1 and 2 episodes were 8, 9, and 10 out of 10s.
Wow.
Episode 1, 2, and 3 of season 3 are each 5 out of 10.
Ouch.
It's boring, slow, and repetitive. I'm struggling to get through these episodes. You know what, Bubba? I'm so glad people are giving this feedback. We are honest with our feedback.
Yeah.
But sometimes, and people even comment. We're sometimes when we're low on episodes and maybe a new person listens to the podcast, they're like, F you, I'm not listening to this because I'm a fan of the show and I don't want to hear anything bad about it. But we have been tough on Silo in the past. I'm so glad that people are giving us this feedback. I hope you're sticking with it.
Yeah.
Again, people who have seen the whole show, the whole season, really giving it good reviews. I've honestly really been enjoying it this season. But again, Jim Rodney says, long-time watcher, first-time raider. Thanks, Jim.
Wow. Thanks, Jim.
This show has really become a bit of a slog for me, and even episode 3 isn't helping. So I rate the entire series so far, or maybe 6, maybe season. He means 6 double B's or double C's.
Wait, double B's and double C's?
Double B's is bad boyfriends, of course.
Yeah.
First, George is sleeping with however many women he needs to get what he wants. And then Orlo Kent's boyfriend is sleeping with whoever gets him whatever he needs to access to and supply.
Wow.
And then, of course, there's a double C's.
Wait, what was the double C's?
Crappy chemistry.
Oh, no.
And he says he knows chemistry is in the eye of the beholder, but it's very little actually chemistry for the pairings we're given. I suspect there'd be even more chemistry between Helen and Bubba than we're seeing between Helen and Daniel on this show.
Yeah, Jim became my favorite feedback person ever.
There'd be chemistry on Bubba's side. I don't know about Helen's side.
Hurtful.
All right,
hey,
Zombie. Yep, go ahead.
Zombie Italian. Let me read him. He gave episode 3 of season 3 7 out of 10 SWSs.
Well, SWSs?
Slow walking Silo. Can Juliette get her memory back, please? I hope the rat poison brings back Juliette's memory. We got 3 storylines to talk about. Still don't know anything about Solo and the kids back in the other one. I'm hoping this picks up a bit. Nathan Geck said, I give episode 3 a rating 5 out of 10.
Ouch.
The show is not making meaningful progress in what I initially thought was a deliberate pace to push to bigger plot points towards the end. Now seems like the writers are struggling. Amnesia is a crutch for exposition dumping. And I mean, Shirley's development, it's driving this poor listener crazy. Complaints aside, though, I do enjoy the premise of Silo and the characters. Mine is common. But the current execution borders on insulting. Ouch.
Oh my God. And then Wayne Rogers, our last bit of feedback, says, I agree with you on the slow plot development, but was happy to see the old Jules starting to come through. I realized I disliked the first episode mainly because Juliette was not Juliette. It was hard to watch. Wayne, I'm with you. We saw in that last episode when she grabbed only one mask that she was becoming the real Juliette, selfish and only caring about what she wants to the exclusion of everyone else. Bubba, next week we've got episode 5, Memory. The events following Juliette's return come to light and unexpected allies are made.
Oh, no.
Bubba, Common, Bernard, Jules, it could all come together. Who knows? Maybe even Orla Kent's quote-unquote boyfriend. And what about the dog? All this.
Yes.
We will talk about next week. But before we go, I'd like to remind you that my name is Catfish. You can hit me up at Sky.
My name's Bubba. You can find me on all social media with the handle Fit and Trim. That's FITTENTRIM at Fit and Trim on social media.
And we will talk to you next week on The Cleaning.
Now, Catfish.
You don't know any other Hollow songs, do you?
Listen, you know, I have a method for getting this show back on track. METHODOFLOVE. It's a method of modern love.
No, God. Oh, this is the first time I almost hung up on you during the podcast. I was like, I can't take it anymore.